And there's a color scheme inside every heart. Ours won't be complete until we have yours. So yellow, nice to meet you. Yellow, nice to meet you. Do you know that you just blew my mind? It was the perfect conversation I think that I read about one time. And I told a white lie when I told you I've never been green with envy. You are the perfect color. Yellow, nice to meet you. Do you know that you just blew my mind? It was the perfect conversation I think that I read about. I think that I read about one. Told a white lie when I told you I've never been green with envy. You're the perfect color. Can you tell me a story without any words? Then mold me misshapen from the soaking dirt. Keep feeding me courage that I don't deserve, so I don't feel broken like I have no worth. My apathy's growing and I never learn. I'm spending this token so I don't get burned. It seems like I'm never gonna make this feel right. I'm drowning in a wave of insight. I'll never be the one to breathe a sigh, but I'll survive storm clouds, even though the sun has gone down. Negative emotions inbound. I'll never be the one to make a sound, but I'll survive. Can you whittle me a token of strength and rebirth? Can you wrap it in linen and a stolen curse? Take strength from the knowledge that this always hurts. Now keep your eyes open so it won't get worse. My apathy's growing and I never learn. I'm spending this token so I don't get burned. It seems like I'm never gonna make this feel right. I'm drowning in a wave of insight. I'll never be the one to breathe a sigh, but I'll survive storm clouds, even though the sun has gone down. Negative emotions inbound. I'll never be the one to make a sound, but I'll survive. It seems like I'm never gonna make this feel right. Drowning in a wave of insight. I'll never be the one to breathe a I've got an aching head, echoes and buzzing noises. I know the words we said, but wish I could have turned our voices down. This is not black and white, only organized confusion. I'm just trying to get it right, and in spite of all I should have done, I was not mad at you. I was not trying to tear you down. The words that I could have used, I was too scared to say out loud. If I could not break your fall, I'll pick you up right off off the ground. If you felt invisible, I won't let you feel that now. Invisible, 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 invisible. Didn't get your way, and it's an empty feeling. You've got a lot to say, and you just wanna know you're being heard. But this is not black and white. There are no clear solutions. I'm just trying to get it right. And in spite of all I should have done, I was not mad at you. I was not trying to tear you down. The words that I could have used, I was too scared to. They know you move at night, and you just ain't right. You around this time, it's my reputation. No, you're never gonna stand in line. Never lie for crime. Never fake crying. What you've been taking now, better hurry, get back from where you came. I'm sure by now they know your name, and I ain't taking the blame. Taking the blame. And it's hard time, honey, that I go ahead and ruin your day. Oh, taking the blame. Taking the blame. And it's hard time, honey, that I go ahead and ruin your day. Oh, baby, yeah. Oh, not a day goes by when I'm there on side. No reason, no rhyme for twisters and speculating. No, within a second you'll be on her way. Take me far. I got a hunger for love, and I'm gonna need you to stay. Take me far away. I got a hunger for love, and I'm gonna need you to stay. Take me far. You stand in front of me, breathes light into my day. How will I cope without your face? What's left inside of me? An endless aching pain. Feeling sorry, I must say. Take me far away. Take me far away. I got a hunger for love, and I'm gonna need you to stay. Take me far away. I got a hunger for love, and I'm gonna need you to stay. Take me far away. You can never take our hearts away. You can never silence what we say. You can't hold us down another day. The revolution is getting closer. Stand up, take a side. Now you know the truth can't be denied. I promise you we won't give up the fight. We're rising.
Asia. Seolki, Kim Yoon-chun, Zerd. Best, Ro.8, Photos. StarCraft League Brood War ASL Season 3, Round 8.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ASL. I'm Tasus, joined with Artosis, and we've got a fantastic match tonight.
This match is pretty sick indeed. One of the greatest Protosses of all time in Best. The god of macro going up against StarCraft 2 legend Seolki, who has been no slouch in his return to Brood War.
That's right. Seolki, somebody who's dominated in multiple RTSs, is proving that he can go from StarCraft 1 to being a very successful StarCraft 2 player, one of the best Zergs of all time, and then go back.
Yeah.
And still recover, still manage to get this deep in the tournament. So I actually had lower expectations than I think a lot of people did for Seolki in this ASL, and he's surprised me a lot. So there's definitely a chance that Seolki could take it here tonight.
Yeah, I think that there's not only a chance of that, but there's also a chance that Seolki wins the whole tournament. And I think a lot of people are not counting him as someone who can possibly do that. But he took out Flash recently in the ASL team battle.
Right.
He's very good at ZVP. He's a really great player. So, I think obviously he's an underdog, but watch out for this kid.
Don't underestimate him. Speaking of underdog, Shine moved on to the Final Four in a big shock to the world. He'll be facing off against Bisu. And I want to say this right now. I think Shine has prepared better for series and specific opponents than anybody else in the ASL. So I think he's going to give Bisu a run for his money.
Totes.
I expect Bisu to advance since he is the greatest Protoss or Zerg player of all time.
Yeah.
But Shine may surprise us.
Yeah.
Shine, of course, the ASL and GSL observer. Kind of a funny story there that he just entered the tournament and now he's getting this deep.
The observer becomes the observed, Tasus.
That's right, as
a
say.
prophecy foretold.
And of course, coming up on Tuesday, we will have Flash versus Last. And then after that, I'm not going to be here for a little bit. I got to go to a wedding, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well,
God, I hope it's not your wedding. Are you getting married?
No, I'm not getting married.
Oh, okay.
Because
I would feel really bad if you hadn't told me.
Esports Artosis, my one true bride. No, I have to go back to the States because one of my best and oldest friends is getting married, but I will be back for the ASL finals. So I'll be here for, obviously, today and then Tuesday, then I'm going to be gone for a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're going to have Rasmus come in.
Are you going to be a flower nerd?
A flower nerd? I'm going to bring the ring out on the pillow.
Oh, yeah?
My nice little gown. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. I'm what you'd call the best nerd at the wedding.
The best nerd.
The best nerd. So, tonight is a best of 5. I am very curious to see how Seolki is going to be opening. Best does have a very large range in PvZ builds.
Yeah.
He can do, rushing into expanding. He can do the standard cannon play or cannon rushes. He can also do these weird, wonky one-base strats that are probably some of the hardest strats to pull off in the game. And I'm interested in seeing what Seolki's approach to this is going to be because it's hard to beat Best in a macro game.
It certainly is, but Seolki is really ridiculously good mechanically and in macro games specifically. He's shown a lot of strength in ZVP. And let's not forget the map pool. Having Outsider as the set 2 map gives Seolki a near lock on a victory during this series. And then, I look at Andromeda, and I kind of like that for Seolki as well. So while I'm not counting Best out as he's one of the greatest of all time, and I would normally favor him against basically everybody, I think I'm actually leaning a little Seolki tonight.
Sure, I don't blame you.
지금부터 감사합니다. 지금부터 8강.
Now we are going to have the opening interview.
도재욱 선수랑 이야기 나눠보겠습니다.
Let's meet our two players.
안녕하세요.
Hello, Seolki. Hello.
안녕하세요. 네.
And a hello, Best. Hello.
왜 이렇게 어색하시죠? 이유가 뭔가요?
You feel a little, you seem awkward up here. What's the reason? Because nothing, I'm fine.
김민철 선수에게 여쭤볼게요. 우리 김민철 선수가
So my first question is to Seolki. Why do you keep smiling?
우리 김민철 선수가 이제 스타리그에서는 8강
This is just a funny situation.
이렇게 본인 커리어가 또 한 단계
So,
올라가셨는데
it's your first round of 8 in Brood War.
소감이 어떠신가요?
일단
You're adding more to your career right now. You're building yourself. How do you feel?
살짝 긴장이 되는 것 같아요.
Yep. This is my first round of 8.
잘해가지고 자신감이
I'm actually a little bit nervous, but I prepared really well,
굉장히
so I'm still confident.
넘치는 모습인데
Wow.
긴장한 거 맞나요?
That's good to hear.
표정은 원래 이래요.
아,
표정은
표정은
원래 이런데.
항상
But you don't seem. I'm sorry. You don't seem that nervous. He says, "Yeah, that's me."
지난 시즌에 이어서
I don't express my nerves that much on my face, but yeah, I'm a little nervous.
상당히 마음의 여유가 있으실 것 같은데 어떠신가요?
Best, this is back-to-back round of 8 for you. Your second time being here. How do you feel?
싶고요.
I really want
경험해봐서
to get another seed for the next season.
그렇죠. 시드 정말
I know how tough that is.
시드인데 우리
So I'm gonna try to take the easiest path in order to achieve that.
김정우 선수 정말 강한 선수들을 꺾으면서 이 자리에 올라오셨어요. 이때까지 경기력으로
So you knocked
봐서는
out players like
오늘도
Effort and
문제 없을
Bisu
것
to get
같은데
here.
오늘 컨디션 어떠신가요?
컨디션 뭐 그냥
You pulled out some great
나쁜 건
performances.
아니고
How do you feel
그때처럼
now?
오늘도 준비를 잘 해가지고
My condition's pretty okay.
네.
기분 좋게 오늘 갈
I
것 같아요.
think
굉장히 자신감 넘치는
I prepared as much for the round of
선수의
16 as I have
모습입니다.
here for the round of 8, so I think I can make it to the next round.
또 이제 지난 시즌 8강에서 정말 강한 저그 조일장
So,
선수를
Best,
꺾고
you've knocked out another great Zerg player, Hero.
저그전에 굉장히
And that was in the last season of the round of 8.
모습인데 오늘 스코어 몇 대 몇 정도 예상을
You seem
하시나요?
very confident in this matchup. How do you predict tonight's matches will go?
3대2 정도 예상.
Well, if I win, I think it's going to be 3-2.
본인이 우세한 것 같나요 오늘?
아니요, 일단은 원래 민철이 만났을
think you have the
때
upper hand
영어 피해서
tonight?
다행이다
Yes.
생각했는데 막상 맵 보고
When I met
민철이
Sulky,
기세 보고 저그인 거 보니까
I thought it was somewhat of a relief because my opponent's not Flash. But since he's a Zerg, I think it's still going to be pretty tricky.
우리 김민철 선수는 또
Looks
4월
like
기준
Best is like a guy in a Versi jacket. He's going to put Sulky in a locker soon.
잘 모르긴
So your
하는데
win rate
그러니까
against
원래
each
제가
other
좀 많이 지긴
is a little bit
했었어요.
tight.
그래가지고 근데 그거는 온라인은 저는 의미 없다고 생각해요.
Yeah, I don't know what our exact record is,
그래서 별로
but
신경 쓰진
I
않아요.
know I've lost some
온라인
games against
전적이 의미
Best.
없다. 내가
But I don't really
오프라인의
care.
강자다.
오프라인
And I don't think that's going to be much of a factor.
그냥 오프라인은 항상 변수가 있다 보니까 온라인을 신경을 쓰질 않는 거죠.
네, 이제 마지막으로
And that record's related to online matches anyways. This is a live event. It's going to be totally different.
각오 한마디 하면서 또 양 선수에게 한마디씩 해볼까요? 김민철 선수부터 해볼까요?
So before we start our match, is there any words you'd like to say to each other? You first, Sulky.
좋은 경기를 위해서 준비 많이 했고요. 이기든 지든
Well, I
재밌게
hope these
게임하고
matches are
싶어요.
really great tonight. I prepared really hard.
말씀하신다면?
Even if I lose or if I win,
이기든 지든
I just want to show some awesome
감정
games.
없이 그냥 그랬으면 좋겠습니다.
아, 그런 게
저도
어딨어요?
Also, we're good friends.
네.
저도
I don't think we're going to have bad feelings towards each other afterwards, regardless of the result.
이렇게 또
And you best.
제가 좋아하는 동생하고 붙게 됐는데 제가 이기든 지든 뭐 그래도
Yeah, we're good
민철이가
friends.
상대해서 좋고요.
Even if I lose,
재밌는 게임 했으면 좋겠어요.
네,
I'm happy to have a match against somebody who I respect like Sulky.
바라겠습니다.
But hopefully,
hopefully
we'll have great matches.
물량 토스 도재욱 이 두 선수의 8강전 경기 지금부터 시작해 볼까요?
All right, that does it for our interview, guys. We are going to be starting this match momentarily. This is Sulky versus Best, a Zerg versus Protoss. That I think is going to be just delightful, Artosis.
Just delightful. That's a very good way to put it. Just as all of our matches so far in the round of 8 have been.
Yeah, we'll be unpacking the way this matchup operates so you can understand it as well as you can. In case you are interested in getting into StarCraft Remastered, we got you guys covered. We got you guys covered. They're going to throw to a video here in a second, guys. So get ready. After this short video, we will be going into this best of 5. Again, Sulky versus Best. We got you guys covered.
Why do you keep making things up in line with the fans?
I promise there's a video coming. Anyways, we got you guys covered.
Oh,
like being independent.
Or not. I guess we're never going to go to that. We don't have you guys covered. I would like to revise.
No one to tell
I
me
would
what
like
to
to
do.
revise.
no, take back Stasis. Oh my God.
Like being by myself.
So,
Jesus. The greatest host, the greatest driver
would you
of all
guys
time.
believe that I've done this for over 10 years and we actually messed that one up? Sorry, everybody. We did have a video prepared, but we were not throwing to it. So this is the song.
If that was a driver's test, you just drove over every cone. Okay? You're not getting your license this time, friend.
So we got Sulky over here. This is the song he chose. Take it in.
Dude, I've been thinking a lot about song choices, and I tell you, a lot of these guys just do it wrong. They're just like choosing songs they like or something, or maybe a song they like to play the game to.
They needed to pick the Nick Tasteless plot theme song.
Well, that's a great one. That would probably be my
classic.
first choice.
Yeah.
But there, a few of them come to mind where, like, if I made it, the I Want to Talk About Me song.
Yeah.
That would be the greatest ever right there.
And now we go to best song.
It's kind of like
got some church music here.
Yeah. That Do Men thing.
Yep.
They pray to best. May my
right,
macro be
because
good.
Do
May
Men-
my pylons not be missed.
That's right. So
Do Men.
let's see how these guys are going to open up here. PVZ is very tricky for the Protoss in the first few minutes just to get set up and be safe. And even after they get set up, Zerg can do some pretty deadly, like throat-cutting tactics to just end the game immediately. But of course, Protoss have a lot of tools at their disposal as well. It's usually Protoss somewhat on the defense for part of the early game. Very rarely do you have an all-out pressure game from the Protoss. But Best knows that. He's very good at what he does. And of course, if he can get all of his tech up, I think it is going to be very tough for Sulky. Sulky may have to revert to a more turtley style.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's actually quite good at that.
Yeah.
He definitely knows when to like switch it on and put down a bunch of Sunkens if he needs to on, in whatever situation. But seriously, looking at this, looking at the map pool, the map order and everything, I am liking Sulky for this, even though Best is like, this guy, I look at him, I'm like, okay, if you beat Sulky, you definitely, like, as far as PvT goes, I think he's the scariest that there is right now in Brood War. So he could definitely take out the winner Flash last, and then, in the finals,
and then when he's up against Shine in the finals, I mean, what do you know? Shine takes it all.
Yeah, that would be so sick.
So, both of our players have now joined the lobby. Map number 1 is going to be on Circuit Breakers. This is a big map. Definitely a lot of different ways you can approach it. It could favor macro play early on for both sides.
Yeah, a lot of bases on this map, so will it go long, or will Sulky try some sort of early bust?
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's really up to the Zerg how this matchup's going to go. Eventually, the Protoss has to play that defense game, get their Nexus up, and play it from there. This is game number 1 in tonight's ASL, a best of 5, Sulky versus Best. In the upper left, in the purple, Sulky. And in the bottom left, in the yellow, Best. We saw Sulky back there a minute ago getting his camera hotkeys set up.
Yeah.
F2 through F3 and 4. You want to make sure that you can always go back to, and you set those on where your expansions are going to be, almost always.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's moments where we could engineer a situation where it would be appropriate to do something otherwise, but basically you want to be able to get back to the minerals and grab your workers and then have, like, for instance, hit F2 to go to your main, then hit F3 to go to your expansion so you can grab workers. Because remember, you can only grab 12 units at a time. If there's like a storm drop or something coming, a Reaver comes in, well, that's a really good Hydralist.
Well, you get very good at...
there's already Hydras in the game.
Looks like it has a Shredder mask. But yeah, generally you'll practice being able to spam that out, like F2, drag select, F3, right click, and then you do that like 3-4 times really, really fast, and you can down the amount of drones, probes, SCVs lost quite significantly. There's actually one other thing. Noni told me about it like a really long time ago.
Yeah.
I believe
He's
it
a
was
great
him.
Brood War player, by the way.
Yeah, one of the greatest of foreigners ever. And using those positional hotkeys, people can try this as well. If you have to reset all of your macro buildings that are all in the same place to a different rally, it's really good to just temporarily switch your camera keys to on top of like your gates or facts or Raxes or whatever, and then to the place you want to go. So you just like, you got to practice doing it, obviously, where you like F2, click your building, F3, right click, and you can do it really fast that way.
So we have the gateway coming down here for the Protoss player, and this has actually been something that's quite popular in the PvZ meta right now. It's very hard to pull off, but if you practice it enough, you can get pretty good at it. Because a lot of times the Zerg is pressuring the Protoss a lot of times goes forge early with a Nexus, and you're just trying to get enough cannons. Like the bare minimum amount of cannons that lets you not lose the game while still teching, because if you overmake, then Zerg can kill you later on. In this case, what he does is he gets a gateway up, and he just starts sending zealots across the map. And these zealots are going to try to kill as many drones as possible. They're usually ignoring the Zerglings. Yeah. And you can do a lot of tricks like put the zealot behind the mineral patch so the Zerglings don't get good surface area. And as you're expanding, you make a Nexus and then later on a Forge and a Cannon. The only problem with this build is if you lose that zealot too quickly, you end up dying to a counterattack. And in this case, he's actually sent... Initially, he faked it out to make it look like 2 Lings were headed back so the other Zealot wouldn't come around.
And it's a great move. He did force that Zealot to stay back. The second one was never sent up, so that makes dealing with this a lot more easy for him. And he's going to target down this probe as quickly as possible, so the Zealot has a harder time dealing with these Lings.
So he had to fight some of those Lings just to get up to the right area. Now he's going to go back there, just like we were talking about. And then he sees he's not being pursued, so he runs up and tries to kill off a few of these workers. So Sulky has to micro really well here. Ooh, getting stuck on one of those drones. He'll loop back around behind the minerals again.
Yeah, very swiftly done right there. And the Zealot will continue this dance, but like I would say both of these guys have basically done this perfectly. The dance of the Zealot rush versus the Zerglings, and the fact that Sulky forced him to keep the second Zealot at home to make it very simple to defend.
By the way, I think one of the hardest things for beginners to StarCraft 1, even if you're very experienced with RTS, is to get, out of all the matchups, I think one of the hardest things to get the hang of is the Wallens for Protoss in this matchup. Yeah. This is actually a Wallen you can copy for most positions, with the pylon at the bottom, by the way, and the Forge Thick in the middle, gateway like that. So definitely take note of that if you're wanting to expand your own game knowledge and your own play from here. And you can see the way this build works is that the cannon's basically just barely going to be done before the buildings could be killed off. So it's a really delicate build that requires a lot of precision. You can't really miss a beat anywhere when you're doing this or you die.
Yeah, it's really, really mapped out super well to have all of your buildings at just the right possible last moment. You know, StarCraft in general, not just StarCraft 1 but 2 as well, is so much about just getting by in every single way. If you can cut every edge to the, have everything at the latest possible moment, you're going to be in good shape. But look at this. This is a pretty quick Hydralisk Den Tasteless. Looks like we're going to have a bust out of Sulky.
Yeah, so if we'd seen a layer or an additional hatchery here before the Hydra Den, then we'd know that the Zerg wants to go towards more of a macro game. But the fact that he's only got 3 hatches up, he doesn't have a ton of drones either. What the Zerg wants to do is send these Hydras up here and just snipe the cannon, because Hydras with the speed upgrade can kite slow Zealots forever. Yeah. In fact, if you do it right, the Zealots never even touch the Hydras. And this is one of the fundamental hard parts. It's not, don't take this the wrong way, guys. It's not in balance, but this phase of the game is very hard for the Protoss.
Yes, because it certainly is. It can be held, but for instance, right now with that speed upgrade on the Lings, Sulky could be going 5-hatch, he could be going layer with Spire, he could be going 3-hatch Hydra. Best just doesn't know for sure here. He hasn't been able to scout.
That's absolutely right, and because he doesn't know what's coming, that's one of the reasons why he rushes for Corsairs. He may make a lot more later on. Now, see where the second cannon is making, a little bit below and to the left of the first cannon? That placement's actually really important. It's not right out there, so it's a little bit harder for the Hydras to get right up to it and optimize their damage. Now, he may need a third cannon, because now, with that being said, there's a lot of Zealots, which will end up soaking, but he's going to have to be very careful with how he controls that.
Now he's trying to push back those Zerglings a little bit. As soon as he can see that there are Hydras on the way, that's going to be useful, but he hasn't seen them yet, so it looks like Sulky's going to be able to dictate exactly when this starts, and with only 2 cannons, it's a little bit scary.
Yeah, 2 cannons is not quite enough. You need to target very carefully here with the Hydras, and this is where the rush is activated.
Yeah, the Zealot's coming out. He does have to pull those back. Notice the probe's coming off immediately. He needs to hold this no matter what. He knows that this is going to be a 3-hatch attack, so if he holds it, he's in good shape. But if he doesn't, he's just straight dead.
Okay, now with the Zealots behind the wall in there, that means the Hydras can actually target this down pretty effectively. Now there's more links coming through with this. If he can just get that last cannon before the other cannon gets up, he could win this game right here, right now.
Some great targeting going on right now, trying to take down as many Hydras as he can with this cannon. The cannon gets taken down. The probes still trying to block these Zerglings. If they get in on top of the cannons, it's going to be over.
That's right. More probes are coming down here. This should be pretty much all the probes Protoss can have to defend with right now. He takes out that cannon before it finishes, and I believe that should be game.
Yeah, this is not looking good at all. A lot of probes ending up going down. Only a single cannon warping in right now. The Ling's getting on top of everything as well. The Hydra's in here, and that is going to be just about that. It is so much damage to Best's economy.
Yeah, and now he can continue to pump Hydras out here, and even if the Zealots come out, as we're seeing exhibited right here, he can micro away. GG, game one goes to Sulky.
Yeah, really well done by Sulky, abusing Best so much there. Again, you know, his rush was ended early. He wasn't able to keep any scouting intel out on the map. Sometimes you have an extra probe out there and whatnot, but Sulky picked off everything, got speedlings in front of his base, and executed a beautiful 3-hatch Hydra.
Yeah, it was very nicely done. In case you're wondering how Protoss going to stop that, you would have had to have a third cannon up and running. Another thing Protoss can do, which isn't talked about a lot, is sometimes you can hotkey the cannons, because you need to target the Hydras, not the Lings.
He was doing that.
Oh, was he doing that back there? Okay.
I mentioned, like, he was targeting Hydras every single time. He did not let cannon shots go on to Zerglings.
Because if the cannon shots go on the Lings don't matter at that point in time. It's just the Hydras. The Lings are almost there to tank.
Yeah, the Lings actually don't really do anything. You can screw up their AI so hard. They are actually tanking damage. They deal some, of course, as well, but it's all about the Hydras.
The best utility the Lings have is that they make the Zealots attack the Lings first, so your Zealots aren't hitting the Hydras just yet. That was a great opener for Sulky because Best is going to be on the defense the rest of these games.
And not just
what Sulky's capable of.
Outsiders next map. This is insanely Zerg favored. So Best really going to have to pull out something special.
We'll be right back, guys, with game number 2, Sulky vs. Best, after this short break.
A little bit longer. I ain't gonna smile if I don't want to. Hey, we all can't be like you. I wish we were all rose-colored too. Rose-colored boy. No pressure, just hate me, no weather.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어? 모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보. 다방면으로 보자. 다방.
월드 오브 워시. 야, 쟤 잠수함이냐? 쾌속선. 커와이네. 불기 못 맞추네. 고티어 베타멜 민폐입니다. 누구시죠? 저희 죄송한데 혹시 운영자님이십니까? 나의 꿈과 희망을 실어서 간다. 어레 김현봉. 고쳐 블라. 야, 뭐야, 블랙홀이야? 은신. 뭐야 이게? 설마 탄?
전국민 슈팅 그라운드 탄! 지금 사전 예약하세요.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
냄새가 나. 어두운 곳에 숨은 냄새를 풍기는 바로 나.
원인은 쾌쾌한 에어컨 냄새. 신제품 페브리즈 차량용으로 상쾌하게. 차량용.
오버워치 아이돌 학교를 소개합니다.
사은서, 우리는 오버워치 아이돌 학교의 교육과정을 성실히 임하며
최고의 게임 아이돌로 성장할 것을 다짐합니다.
좋았어. 이제부턴 진지 모드.
신입생 입학 조건 단 하나. e스포츠와 오버워치를 사랑하고 PC방을 좋아하면 돼요.
뭘 넋을 놓고 보고 있나?
매주 목요일 저녁 10시에 방송됩니다. 오버워치 아이돌 학교.
Welcome back to the ASL. Game number 1 has been won by Sulky, but it's a best of 5. There's still a chance Best can turn this around, but keep in mind the next map is Outsider.
Yeah, that's a very tough map.
That
in fact,
map
we've not
sucks
seen
for Protoss for Zerg.
I don't believe we've seen a single victory PvZ.
I think you're right.
This season, and in fact, so many losses, and a lot of them were ones where like one player is actually better, the Protoss player. Not all of them, but there were definitely some of those in there. So
basically, on this map, you can expand. The Zerg can expand behind their main into this. There's like a big square around the map that once you mine out everything, you actually have this like highway that goes everywhere on the map. It's hard for for the Protoss to get back there and punish the Zerg. Also, if the Protoss tries to expand like that, Zerg can abuse drops on this crazy level. So the early game for Protoss is kind of a nightmare, and I'm wondering if in this case we're going to see maybe Best do like a one-base play or something like that.
We definitely could. Also, one other thing I do want to point out about Outsider is the front natural is the gas base, and it's not wallable for PvZ early game. So that's like a huge part of this, where it's like we see things like Reavers used more often on this map, and just it's a very difficult spot for Protoss.
This is also a matchup where Protoss is very much so reliant on Vespian gas.
Yes,
and,
so much so.
But the Zerg does not have to rely on it anywhere near as much as the Protoss does. The Zerg can just keep making Lings and Hydras, for instance, and it's pretty cost efficient, where the Protoss can't combat that without Sonic Storm, maybe Reavers or something like that. That's not a general that you need to get Reavers right away, but anything that has some kind of area of effect damage is going to be helpful. So there's so many things that Sulky can exploit here, and it seems like he's prepared overall for this series really, really well.
Yeah, and I think he did previously for his original group, and here he is right now showing a very perfectly executed 3-hatch Hydra in that last game after shutting down the rush and containing Best completely. You just kind of put it in Fate's hands, you know? And, I think that this map is a lot easier for Sulky as well. So Best has to show us the first PvZ victory on Outsider for the season if he wants to win this series, I think.
This is game number 2 on Outsider. Let's see what strats Best pulls out. If he loses here, he's going to be down 0-2, and Sulky will be that much closer to moving on to the round of 4. In the center left, in the yellow, our Zerg player, Sulky. In the upper right, in the red, our Protoss player, Best.
I'm excited to see what Best does here, because obviously he had a while to prepare for this map. He knew he'd be playing it at least one time. Well, probably exactly one time. I'd imagine this was his ban.
Yeah.
But he should have something good planned, and that's actually kind of a cool aspect of Brood War is, and in fact, your brother had a really good quote, Day 9, of course. It said something to the effect of like,
My brother from my actual mother.
Yeah, your brother from your actual mother, which is the mother that we call StarCraft. I would like to be your actual mother, because then maybe I'm your brother in that. Actually, Day9 probably still is as well. Maybe we can be triplets.
We needed a Terran player in the family.
I was
my
the
mom
one
only had 2 kids.
separated at birth.
That's right. You're the adoptee is what happened.
She sent me to the second most boring place on earth, New Hampshire.
What was the quote, though?
Yeah, okay, so it was something to the effect of, like, for one game, the balance, you can always, the gist of it was you can always win one game on an imbalanced map.
Absolutely, you
can. No matter how bad the imbalances are, you can come up with one thing to win one time in that matchup for sure. And it's not like a 100% victory, obviously, but like and this is actually just a basic thing in StarCraft in general is, and he's doing 2-gate. I like this. This is something Rain tried before.
Probably 10-12 or something like that?
Maybe. But yeah, it just in general, like, balance is something over a wide amount of games. Whereas, like, you look at a single game and the balance does not matter as much. The map is hard. Yes, the map is very hard. You have to do something a little bit different here. And we'll see how this works out for Best.
Now, the build that we're seeing Best do, this is... It looks a lot like an older build that was used in the first few years of StarCraft.
Yeah, this could be Reach doing this right now.
Yeah, and so the difference with this build, because I used to have players like Pillars, for instance. They would do the 2-gate Zealot Rush, try to pressure. But Zergs basically know how to hold that now, and then you end up with a bunch of Zealots, and you haven't really gotten Storm, and then it's hard to get an expansion up. It's just a big problem all around. But in this case, what you do is you get enough Zealots to put just a little bit of pressure on and then to hold your ramp. And that's another feature of this map that makes it a little bit annoying. Oh, you saw that block?
So
the body blocking with the
sick.
drones. Watch, he's going to do it again.
Oh,
he's
come
just
on,
buying
Shine.
time. Come on, Shine.
Shine doesn't want anyone to look good but himself.
Yeah, man, he's like, I'm going to look at the
Yeah, look at this. Look at this, guys. This is so stupid. Oh, my God. That's so good by Sulky. That's what I mean by
buying
stupid.
a little bit of time. So, what he does is he gets just enough Zealots to put pressure on and then hold the ramp. Because on this map, that's another problem the Protoss have is that the ramp's hard to hold. It's not a tight ramp like you'd have on Fighting Spirit, for instance. So then he techs up from here. But this is a very tough build to pull off. It's one of the builds that we see on the professional level that I would say is probably one of the hardest ones to execute.
By the way, look at this targeting. He's targeting the Probe and Zealot on each Zergling right in a row, and that makes it 2-hit everything. This is just so beautifully done. Picking off 4 right off the bat, even though he was surrounded.
Yeah.
Really good.
So, in case you're wondering, will we see a Hydra bust this game? Not necessarily at all. This is a different situation because they're not. Protoss hasn't expanded on low ground. Protoss is teching up on one base.
Yeah.
Now, the weird thing about this build that we're seeing Best do is even the best Zergs are not always that comfortable with this. This is not what the normal games that you play against look like.
Yeah. This is from such an old meta, this type of play that Best is showing. It's like the pre-Bisu days we'd see builds like this. So it's something that's actually before Sulky's time to a certain extent, and that's, it can make it a little bit harder for him to play against. But in general, it's weaker than the New Age Protoss play.
Yeah.
So if Sulky plays like a little bit careful against it, then he should be all right. In theory.
Even the Dragoon coming out here is really important. You need to get rid of the Overlords right away because you want to try to disguise the tech, at least to some extent. Now, he's getting to Stargate, so that Overlord will be killed later off. Oh, my God. Is he going to get it? That's too bad. That's too bad, actually, because that would have been very helpful.
Oh, my God.
And he's actually going to expand behind with this. And now he's going to get the 1 Corsair. He may get more, but he might just get the 1 Corsair here. To try to scout and get an idea of what's going on.
No, I'm totally with you on that. I think 1 Corsair is a great number of Corsair to have here.
Well, because if you get too many more Corsairs...
You don't want to use up all your gas.
Yeah, you're not going to get Storm. Basically, the Protoss has to get Psionic Storm. Once they have Psionic Storm, then they really are able to punish the Zerg.
Yeah.
So he's making a beeline over here. Now, we didn't have a layer, right? There's no layer here?
No layer yet.
Okay, so...
Hydralisk Den, though.
Hydralisk Den coming up. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a bust. That might just be a reaction to the fact that there's a Corsair on the map. And so he's just starting to fly around here.
It's a little bit defensive here as well, just to have that out. So poke back that Corsair a bit. Of course, there is always the scary thing of a Hydralisk bust coming. And against something like that, you're actually going to need cannons on your high ground. You're not going to hold a Hydralisk bust up the ramp with Zealots on hold position and Dragoons behind it.
That Dragoon's going to have to get a lot of shots up on those Hydras, man. It's not easy to do. So now the Zerg techs up to layer. And again, I know that initially this build that the Sulky's doing looked probably a lot like the Hydra bust build, but it's actually very different. Now he's getting Dragoon range with this. It could be air weapons, but that doesn't make any sense because he's got more Dragoons than he has Corsairs.
Mm-hmm.
He might be getting air armor as well, but we're just going to throw that one out.
Really wants those observers to live for the eventual lurkers.
One more Hydra shot to kill him off.
Yeah.
Now the Dragoon play is interesting, and this is actually it can be a setup for a really weird form of cheese that we saw. It's very rare we see it. I think I've seen Reach do it. I know Magoo did weird stuff like this too. He was an American player. He was one of the best 2v2 players of all time. But if you just get enough Dragoons, you can get this sweet spot where you just have enough Dragoons, and the Zerg doesn't quite have that much.
Yeah.
And you micro them just right, and we all know that's not easy to micro Dragoons perfectly. Then you can start to snowball the damage here. And you're basically playing around the idea of getting Storm, as Zerg feels like they have a lot more flexibility because you're waiting to get Storm. And so what they do is you just start to hit them.
Yeah, you got to be careful with this, though. Like, for instance, if you do not have that kind of overwhelming amount, and your Zealot style, you have to run every Zerg unit beats Dragoons, unless you do have some sort of weird number at a weird time.
Yeah,
so
it's like it's a hard concept to teach people, but occasionally you can just get enough. And so what he does is he's actually feigning the Dragoon pressure and running back and making cannons, and this is his setup to get his gas base up.
Yeah, is he going to have those cannons up in time right now? Sulky moving across the map, 3 cannons still orphan in. He needs to buy some time.
Yeah, he needs to have his positioning here perfect. The cannons should be getting finished here. Now,
two of them are about to finish, but will they actually finish in time? The Zergling's running past now.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah.
So he's going to run in here and try to take out some workers. He needs to leave the right number of Dragoons behind here because we know that if the Hydras just run up there in time and get those cannons. Now, this is so smart going all the way down here.
That is good. It takes
like
a long time for him to send units down to actually clear this out. Okay, it looks like about 3 Dragoons coming down, and he has his cannons at the front. So, like, Best so far is doing a better job than any Protoss that we've seen on this map.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, this build he did, just getting that mineral base to have enough minerals, to have enough Dragoons, and also afford cannons, to also afford the Nexus, is like a really, to be honest, brilliant way to approach this. And I think Sulky, tactically, that was a smart maneuver when he identified, okay, he actually has enough. Like, oh, crap.
Yeah, you may as well run the Lings Pass. What are you going to do? Just sit there and let them die? If Best makes the wrong decision, maybe he gets some more damage there. Doesn't work out for him this time, but Sulky already taken a 4th base. And let's not forget, Best right now, no splash damage. He hasn't started his +1 attack.
Yeah.
He might have Zealot legs on the way, but he doesn't even have enough gateways to have any chance of breaking Sulky right now.
Here's what's funny about this. This game got even weirder. He's setting up for Dragoon Reaver. Back with some Corsairs. And this is like a really funny late tech. Because the Zerg, right? The Zerg saw the Dragoons and is like, oh shit, I gotta change gears here. I gotta shift gears because he's actually in a pretty good setup. But in fact, a Dragoon Reaver push, which by the way, this is like the hardest kind of Reaver push to do. Oh, this is so cute. Look, he's gonna try to glitch one of these through there to get a lurker behind. If he does the right Dragoon Reaver push and just hits at the right time, and he tries to cancel one, and he's going to spam click it. He got
really
it.
Well done.
Beautiful.
Really well done there by Sulky. That's a jump that you almost never see, the double lurker egg right there. But as long as there's any sort of overlap, then you can push things through minerals. So really neat move right there.
Okay, the Hydras and lurkers are gathering up. Now Zerg doesn't know that it's going to be a Dragoon Reaver push because Dragoon Reaver can kind of counter Hydra Lurker. But this is what we call the Lurker Contain. And what you're doing is you get this set up, and the other player is trying to get observers out and to spot the lurkers, to fire the Dragoon shots at them to kill them. But what the Hydras do is they run up and gun down the observer. And even though I think what Best is doing is quite brilliant, there's a lot of problems. That lurker back there at the expansion, and also the fact that he's hitting this gas.
That's so hilarious that lurkers are hitting this gas, and he cannot clear it because that's his second gas. That's what's so important. He has to have that.
The whole game was basically a rush to try to get that set up.
Best is sad right now. He's like, come on, let me have 2 gases. Let me have this. It's late even. But no, down it goes. And Sulky doing a good job of abusing the map at the moment.
I got to say, though, I'm really liking this very unorthodox approach that Best used.
Oh, I'm a super fan,
because now he is going to clean up that lurker, and here's the thing. Even though I think Sulky's playing to the map so well, despite the weird strat Best is doing, there's going to be a Dragoon Reaver push that's going to bust out of here, and Zerg just might not be ready. So he needs to get this Observer back over there right away.
Yeah, this is really a possibility that he can actually kill him with this push. But Sulky's on 4 bases. He has Scourge out. That's really important. If you can kill off the Observers, which are very hard to keep alive, especially when you're trying to make Reavers and Shuttles, that's going to do very well for your Lurkers. And, of course, if you get the Shuttle, then the push kind of stops, or at least way slows down.
You really have to attack at a very specific point in time. Now, I believe he has 2 Reavers. He might only have 1. I'm not totally sure on that. But he's going to push out. Look, this can actually break the Zerg's back. If you have some bad engages, keep in mind how devastating Scarabs can be.
Yeah.
It's very important. Like, if you watch a pro do this play, they're usually very slow because they're just babysitting the shuttle the whole time. Okay, hold on. Scourge coming up.
Oh, God. And
he gets it.
That is just so brutal. It's really hard to shoot down Scourge in this type of situation. Oh, my God. Down goes the Observer as well. So this slows everything way down. He only has 1 Robo right now. And he has to remake, he's probably making a second Reave right now. He needs to remake a Shuttle. He needs to remake Observers.
Yeah. We don't see any other Observers out here. And, yeah, you're totally right, Artosis. He remade that second Reaver. The problem is that, the Scourge can hit all the key components of the Protoss' army, the Shuttle or the Observer. And in case you're wondering, like, why can't the Dragoons just gun down the Scourge? Well, they sort of can, except for the fact that they don't fire fast. Oh, and this is a...
Oh, my God.
Okay.
And, to get them all in range and they don't fire fast, plus you run in with the Lings. This is something you always do when you're trying to snipe things with Scourge, is you let the Lings go in because the Protoss or Terran player has to focus fire the Scourge. Otherwise, they just attack the Lings.
By the way, guys, if you're playing Protoss and Brood War and you try the build that Bess is doing, you probably lose like 95% of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you might be overall better, like this style of play is so hard.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
It's super tricky. One thing we normally see in this strat is that you get the range, not the range, the speed. You get the speed here for the shuttle. There you go. He actually kept that one alive. Sulky not quite controlling well enough. He also got rid of the Overlord there. But this one Observer goes down, and I think that's the only one, right?
I believe it is the only Observer in this army right now, but he's kind of moving around everything, trying to get a lot of damage done still. Hits the Lurker Eggs with the Scarab. That doesn't really help out that much. A lot of Lurkers burrowing, and I think that Best has to back up a bit.
Okay, he got a good connect there on those Lurkers. Now, the weird thing is that Best is actually pushed forward here. It's really hard for the Zerg to engage this army. If Zerg can get enough bases up, they just overwhelm you no matter what you're doing. But Best is doing a decent job pushing in. Now, he's going to go and try to come in here for a bust. The Hydra is now targeting down that Reaver.
Oh, that Scarab was just madness. The Reaver stays alive. The Observer comes down.
He's coming in. He gets that one Reaver, but there's so many Dragoons now. This might just snowball. The Lurkers are retreating southbound.
Wow, Best really busting out his best play right here. The Observer down. He's got to pick off these Lurkers, and Sulky in a lot of trouble. 2 of his hatcheries and 1 of his bases here under fire.
Now, you can see that if you just have enough Dragoons, you can basically combat the sunken colonies and the Lurkers, and then if you just kite these Dragoons, because they do just slightly outrange the Hydras, you basically have a better engage. He makes those Zealots there because he wants something to soak damage, almost like StarCraft 2 Zealots.
Yeah, but look at this. The Hydras keep on coming in. As the Zealots come over, though, the Hydras will have to pull back. The Hydras do counter the Dragoons, but not in these numbers, especially with the Zealots in front.
Well, here's the thing. He might be able to take out these 2 macro hatches, as well as just the expansion that's over here.
And he's taking another base during all this. His macro is not slowing down. This is the greatest macro Protoss of all time, so he's going to continue to have these units moving out because Sulky hasn't done any economic damage to him in quite a while.
Yeah, Best needs to change his ID to Beast, man. This is so impressive that he's actually making this style work out. He's going to actually get that hatchery. Now, keep in mind, it's not just the expansion, but the fact that everything comes out of the hatchery for the Zerg. So that's pretty painful.
Yeah.
And there might be no reason for the Zerg at this point in time to stop making the Dragoon play. In fact, there's no Lurkers here, Artosis.
Oh, my God. This is brutal. He really does need them here. Trying to make some Sunkens, but it might be too little too late. Wow.
Wow, Best actually pulled that off. I think that's the first Protoss we've seen win on this map.
It is. And it's so well done. Sulky seemed very prepared. He had some great moves like the Lurker Egg jump.
Yeah.
Sieging that gas, but Best's initial push, despite losing his first Observer and first Shuttle right off the bat, was fantastic. I love how he stayed in position. He just continued to push down, didn't let Sulky get bigger, wider flanks or anything. That was so well done.
I'm also really happy we got to see that style of play because that's just such a rarity, but it is a concept that can work. It's just very hard to pull off is the Dragoon snowballing maneuver.
Yeah.
Where even if, because the thing is sometimes the Zerg go so out of their way to get the Reaver that even if they kill it, it's like, well, I have all these Dragoons now.
Yeah,
I can
we saw
these.
that. He had like 6-7 Hydras come up and like 4 or 5 died to one Scarab when he was trying to snipe, and that's really, I think, when the back of Sulky was broken.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he just managed to push through. So kudos to Best for winning game number 2. That ties us up at 1-1. But of course, this is a best of 5. But with Best winning on the map that's the hardest for Protoss to play against Zergon, I think he's going to be feeling pretty confident going out through this series.
He definitely should be, despite that early Hydra bust in game 1 that got him. The next map, I believe, is Camelot, so a very small map. Definitely Hydra bust going to be a real threat here as well.
Absolutely. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, game number 3, Sulky versus Best in the ASL.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어? 모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보. 다방면으로 보자. 다방.
뭐야 이게? 설마 탄? 전국민 슈팅 그라운드 탄! 지금 사전 예약하세요.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주르지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
월드 오브 워십. 야, 쟤 잠수함이냐? 쾌속선. 커와이네. 이게 못 맞추네, 씨. 고티어 베타멜 민폐입니다. 누구시죠? 저희 죄송한데 혹시 운영자님이십니까? 나의 꿈과 희망을 실어서 간다! 어레 김연봉. 고쳐 블라. 야, 뭐야, 블랙홀이야? 은신.
냄새가 나. 어두운 곳에 숨은 냄새를 풍기는 바로 너!
원인은 쾌쾌한 에어컨 냄새. 신제품 페브리즈 차량용으로 상쾌하게. 차량용.
오버워치 아이돌 학교를 소개합니다. 대한민국을 대표하는 최고의 게임 아이돌을 육성시키는 e스포츠 전문 학교.
선서. 우리는 오버워치 아이돌 학교의 교육과정을 성실히 임하며
최고의 게임 아이돌로 성장할 것을 다짐합니다.
좋았어. 이제부터는 진지 모드.
오버워치 아이돌 학교의 목표는 졸업과 동시에 즉시 천상계 입문.
제가 여러분을 돌보겠어요.
신입생 입학 조건 단 하나. 게임 실력 필요 없어요. e스포츠와 오버워치를 사랑하고 PC방을 좋아하면 돼요. 왜냐고요? 저희 오버워치 아이돌 학교에는 여러분의 실력 향상을 위한 1:1 맞춤형 수업이 준비되어 있거든요.
따라올 수 있겠어?
영웅의 이해, 전장의 이해, 오버워치 멘탈 관리야, 실전 훈련. 우리 팀 피계 상황이 심각할 때 훈련은 필수인데요.
마음을 비우고 눈앞의 임무에 집중하라.
실전 대처술 등 체계적인 교과 수업, 그리고 균형 잡힌 PC방 식단을 통해 게임 아이돌로 성장하게 됩니다. 대한민국을 넘어 전 세계를 입덕시킨 오버워치 아이돌 프로게이머로 탄생되는 거죠. 오버워치 아이돌 학교는 매주 목요일 저녁 10시에 방송됩니다.
뭘 넋을 놓고 보고 있나?
등교 시간 확인하여 지각하지 마세요. 오버워치 아이돌 학교.
What's up, guys? We're back. We're going on to game number 3. This is Sulky versus Best. We did just see Best pull off one of the hardest techniques in the game and actually beat Sulky on a map that, to be totally candid, is just very hard for Protoss to win on.
Yeah, that was a great victory by Best, and he needed it right there, too. If he was down 0-2 right now, you'd have to give him almost no chance of coming back.
Yeah.
You know, Sulky can just mix in busts and eventually get a game, right? But here we are, tied up 1-1. Camelot is our next map. A very flat map, Caseless.
It's for all the flat earthers out there, Tosis.
Yeah.
You guys know who you are.
Yeah. We reptilians trying to tell you that
right.
the Earth is round.
Just like Outsider,
Don't
that's for all
listen to
those
us.
people that believe in chemtrails. So
Yeah.
we're going to be going into this third game. Now, that was a moral blow for Sulky, certainly losing game number 2. But Best is a crafty Protoss. And to use that Day3 quote you were talking about, Artosis, even on a map that might not be fair, there's always a way to win at least one game.
Yeah. Like
You can do it.
Yeah, I mean, if Sulky were to play him again on that map, I think Sulky wins now, right? He's seen that strat that was pulled out, and you know, it's not that that can only work once. It's just if you're more prepared for an off-kilter style of play, then it's going to be a lot harder to make that work. That is not a standard, normal strategy that Protoss want to use. So
now let's see if Sulky actually does a Hydra Bust here, because Hydra Bust is viable on this map. It's also a map where definitely Protoss gets some momentum, gets some muscle in their army, gets that tech up, and they can definitely go around stamping out all these bases, and they can force Zerg into a very turtley game.
totally the case. So Sulky, hopefully he can bust out his best play here if he wants to take down this monster of a Protoss.
This is a best of 5, guys. Game number 3 is going to decide who has the lead. And we're going to that right now. Sulky versus Best. The winner of this series goes on to the Final 4 in the ASL. Woo!
We got you guys covered.
Got you guys covered.
Couple moves in here.
In the upper left, in the teal, are Zerg player Sulky.
Teal, a really good color for Zerg, in my opinion.
I agree. In the bottom right, in the red, a good color for Protoss, by the way, Best.
Red? Red is so boring.
What? Red is boring? You're the first person who ever said that.
In StarCraft? I mean, come on. Everyone's
Red's a great
like red
color.
and...
Remember those weird maps in Brood War that like would have you on all these weird colors that were all off?
Yeah,
You could
Brood
be,
War
like,
tile
black.
sets.
Yeah.
You could. Oh yeah, there was different ones that people like hacked the map to make really weird looking colors. Yeah, those were cool too. But I like the Brood War tile set colors as well, like orange Terran, like the nice strong orange or the dark green. Ooh,
that was good.
Handsome. Handsome vultures. Oh my!
There was nothing worse than playing on one of those like char volcano looking maps against a player that was like a Zerg and his color was black. I'm like, I can't even see what's going on here. I don't even know what I'm fighting.
Well, especially because the Zerglings like looked really weird. They look like little inverted shadows or something.
Yeah. The Lings and Lurkers run up and I just suddenly go blind. I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know what happened back there. So in this game, we have a pylon at the expansion. So it's either going to be a forge or a gateway. Let's see what it is. Dun, dun, dun. It's a gateway. Okay. So Best is trying to do a build that was similar to what we saw in Game 1. And let's remember in Game 1, he basically held this off and then did a Hydra Bust. So it might be a game that looks exactly like Game 1 and ends the same way. We'll see.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Hopefully Best will be a little bit more mind reading on whether or not it's a 3-hatch Hydra play. But the drone coming out right now, a little bit different here from Sulky. Best just kind of patrolling for the hatch.
So because the probe can interfere with the drone planting the hatch at the natural, sometimes we see the drone actually go to the third base. But this was actually a pretty good fake. He made it look like the drone was headed there, and then he's going to plant this hatchery at his natural anyways. Boop.
Yep, the whole meta of hiding drones against Protoss is trying to block your hatch. It's a real thing, and well done there by Sulky, but nothing too weird going on this
The positioning here, he can actually hit the workers through the patch if he does it right. So there's all these little tricks you want to use your probe for. Like, for instance, you take 1 mineral, because that's just 8. How many minerals do you get in this? 8. 8 minerals, right? Okay, I second-guessed myself.
I don't know, 2 or 8.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys, I've never played this game before. I don't know what's going on. So the
guys on Team Liquid are like, finally he admits it.
Right. Finally he exposes himself as someone who secretly hates StarCraft. You just take that mineral, then you want to try to harass some drones. You want to see if you can't block that from coming in. And then the probe combos with the Zealot, and it's 2 probe hits plus 2 Zealot hits kill a Ling, and also kill a drone. And so it's very frustrating. And the Protoss player has to be very careful with how he moves the Zealot in the probe, and where because while you're doing this, you're not just pressuring the Zerg, you're actually buying time for your expansion to get up. That's something I don't think we really highlighted here. You are scrambling to get defense over here.
I also want to say I like the way that Best is doing it, where he's actually snuck that probe back in. He's having a wall immediately here as some Lings did run by, but at least he's getting a bit more intel for a bit longer than he did in game number 1, where he just straight up lost the probe in Zealot, and then bam, it was over with the 3-hatch Hydra bust.
And the way this wall is set up, and I'm never 100% on this kind of stuff because each map is different. I believe the right side of the gateway is tight enough that Lings can't slip through.
Yeah.
And on the left side of the forge, Lings cannot slip through. So he basically has himself walled in. He just has to get the cannon up and then decide whether or not he instinctually knows if the Hydra rush is coming. And if it is, then he has to hold that as well.
Yeah, and that's, of course, where it can become very, very difficult indeed. But his probe has been alive for a long time, so he's doing a really good job of keeping the intel going and flowing. Some Lings coming down. And look, that probe is still alive, Tasis. This isn't going to be a 3-hatch Hydra bust. I think that Sulky already will have had to decide not to do that based on this probe being around forever.
Yeah, the fact that the probe's in there and Ling's speed's not done, although we can probably assume that that's being upgraded. He probably mined 100 gas and then he put him back on minerals. But that's pretty smart of Bess. He basically played a much more conservative game, setting his Zealots back and not really losing anything in order to get the probe to dive back in and check what exactly the Zerg's doing here. So yeah, he's doing a great job. We see the 4th macro hatch coming up here. He finally kills the probe off.
Down it goes, but that is so much intel. He's going to be feeling a lot better than he did in game number 1 right now. Now, a bunch of Speedlings out in the map. They might do something like try to run by if that wall isn't filled with probes. Yeah, he's going to go down and look, but beautifully done by Bess, filling up that hole immediately.
Now, these Zealots might not go all the way. In fact, they may head back home. He's trying to force out more Lings because the Zerg is attempting to enter into a macro phase. So he might, in fact, I think he's doing just that. He's telling the Zealots to turn around, because the Zerg lost track of where the Zealots were, so he has to make enough Lings to defend this. And we see those Lings hatching. They're now headed southbound at the top of the mini-map, you can see there.
Yeah, this is, like, Best, the amount that he has improved since game 1 in this series. Like, obviously, game 2 was fantastic that we saw him win on Outsider finally in a PvZ, but what he's done this game of not overcommitting to the harassment, keeping the probe alive for a really long time, forcing this higher econ play, and then moving out with the Zealots, forcing more Lings, filling up the hole with the probes. Like, everything, the Best is really on top of his game right now, and Sulky's going to have to bring it.
Best is doing a really good job exhibiting exactly how to survive and last against the Zerg. And now the Protoss is starting to get the tech that they want to get. Now, a lot of times you just keep making Corsairs because you can always threaten the Overlords. And this forces Zerg to keep the Overlords back, and you can see them now bunching up to where these Hydras are going to hatch. It can also force Zerg to start making Scourge. Even though we don't have a Spire just yet, we might see that later on. And that means the Zerg is basically spending gas defending against the Corsairs instead of trying to tech up to more of the stuff where they can actually combat the Zealots.
Corsair poking in, getting a little bit of hull damage there, but will pull back. And this is cool, man, because we are actually going to see like a standard macro game out of both sides now, which is really something. This is generally considered the test of a Brood War player. Let's see what your macro game is like. Can you play the late game? Nothing went wrong really on either side here.
Right.
And, you know, this is where actually Best becomes the scariest Protoss that there is. Maybe his multitasking isn't quite what Bisu's is, but I tell you what, he's going to have a lot of Zealots. Maybe even 1 or 2 more than Bisu would have.
Oh, hold up, hold up. Link's coming through. Oh, my God, that pro block is good.
Is it enough? It looks like it is. These cannons might end up going down, but that's a lot of Lings falling.
Oh, my God. The last hit stops that. So he has to remake the cannons immediately. Notice how fast he's doing that because there's a chance the Hydras can come in and start harassing.
Yeah, he's got to be very careful about that. Indeed, get back to mining as well. 5-hatch Hydra is being produced by Sulky right now. A few Lings trying to run through. Ooh, that's annoying.
Yeah, he's trying to pull some of these Zealots back here to try to help defend. Because the Hydra rush is coming up here. And, you know, we were saying this is going to be a standard macro game, but I think Sulky may have just dismantled the Protoss.
He's coming out, but the Zealot legs are done. He's got that +1 still on the way. Wants that to finish as well. He's got a good amount of gates and warping in more cannons. If he can just hold this back for a moment while those extra cannons finish, he should have the leeway to get into Storm.
So the layer is on the way to being produced right now. Definitely the Zerg wanted to have enough muscle to combat whatever the Protoss is going to throw at him. And 1 DT comes out. Now, keep in mind the Corsairs have been bullying the Overlords around the map and forcing them to bunch up. He may be able to slip this DT in as he's doing the Zealot pressure and start to kill off a lot of workers.
Look at that DT just go right up towards that third base. The Corsairs drawing those Hydras over. And I love this kind of posturing from the Zealots. They're kind of threatening an attack and keeping Sulky's attention on them. So look at this. The DT gets in, but Sulky sees it immediately.
Very good reaction here from Sulky. He's going to evacuate that and then try to hide the DT in the upper right-hand corner. He doesn't want to let these Zealots actually get through. You can also start to fork the Zealots out, for instance, sending like 2 or 3 into the main of the Zerg and try to hit drones that way. And while this is all going on, Psionic Storm, I believe, should be done by now. And you're going to get that robo like we see there for observers. You're keeping the Zerg honest and keeping the pressure on the Zerg while you're getting that complete Protoss army that's really tough for the Zerg to engage.
Yeah, when he actually has all those Psi Storms hitting on top of the Hydras, it will be very tough for Sulky. Now, where will Sulky go from here? A lot of times you see him go right into Lurkers, but occasionally you'll see a Spire come down and a switch into Mutas to Suicide on High Templars.
Okay, the Templars are coming forward here. Keep in mind, it's easier said than done to get these storms up. Good assassinate. Great assassinate there. He's going to try it again here on this one Templar. Very good.
Nice pullback. Oh! 7 health left on that thing. He still does save it. The Zealots running these Hydras. He has to run away. That is not enough Hydras to fight here.
Okay, now both these Templars very badly bruised.
Oh my God.
Okay,
he
got
does
it.
Get it.
I think Protoss might have to turn around. I don't think one Templar is going to cut it.
He's down to 1 High Templar. He picked off a lot of units while losing those High Templars, so I don't think he's like in fear of being busted at the moment, but this has been some great sniping from Sulky.
Sulky is really doing a great job sending those out. We have Dragoon range on the way here. I believe that's what that is being upgraded there. Did he keep making Corsairs? Sometimes you get Corsair attack as
I believe he only has 2 right now. The thing is, a Spire can occur. Muta switches at this point are not that uncommon in ZVP, so it could be either one, I would say.
And you have to keep in mind that it's completely reasonable for the Zerg to switch into Mutas, right? I mean, you can just snipe the Templars. You're going to have some Dragoons or an Archon or something to combat that. Because in this case, Best didn't make Corsairs the entire time. We've seen Effort and Jadong just completely shred these Protosses that almost got everything set up. Whoa! He's got to be very careful with that shuttle. I'm actually surprised to see the shuttle at this point in time in the game.
Yeah, by the way, I want to point out that he brought his Corsairs back and just put them over the natural Nexus, and how much I appreciate that move, because a lot of times the Corsairs will still be out of the map right now, which... while the scouting can be good, if the Zerg just randomly catches those 2 things with some Scourge on a later Spire, then you are playing catch-up for the rest of the game on Corsairs.
What is in the shuttle? It could be a DT and it could be 1 Templar, for instance, with a Zealot. Something to interrupt the Zerg. Oh my God, he's going to be able to get it.
It's 2 Zealots, 3 Zealots, 4 Zealots. That's what it is, Tasteless.
Doing a 4 Zealot drop can be fine as well to just start to hit the workers over there, because then they have to send the Hydras back and you could start pressuring the 3rd or the natural.
Although I do like the DT HT drop. Send the DT in the main and go to the natural to kill any retreating drones and the natural drones. But loses that shuttle, not that big of a deal. The Zealots did get out.
Now this might be a bunch of Mutas coming up here. Storm to drive back. those Hydras. The Hydras now repositioned here to try to intercept reinforcements.
Dude, this army of Best is so fearsome right now. He's got enough Dragoons to fight against Mutas at the moment. Some Lurkers are being burrowed. He's running up here. He has that single Observer, and it is being microed fantastically. Down goes the Lurker.
Oh, great storms here. Look at the spread. I mean, there's at this point in time, it's like Zerg's microing on 3 different screens at once.
Well, he's cleaning out all the Zealots, so once those are gone, these Dragoons are going to have to run out of here. These Hydras could end up turning this fight with 5 hatcheries behind them, and no more Psy Storms. More Hydras going to be coming out. Oh, a great couple Psy Storms.
Oh, that was
my
brilliant.
God.
That was brilliant, and now he just continues to supplement the rest of the army with Zealots as he comes forward, and that's going to be a GG.
Wow.
Best wins game number 3. Very nicely done.
Yeah, that was a very well-played game once again by Best. He has truly turned it on and shown his class as one of the greatest Protosses ever to have lived. Oh my God, that was well done. And those last 2 storms were like perfectly done at the last that battle actually turns to Sulky very soon if the storms don't come out.
The Dragoons by themselves can kind of lose to everything unless you have that overwhelming number that like we saw in game 2, for instance. By the way, Sulky is very scary in these early game moments. He is a Cobra, man. He is a Scorpion. But in the late game, you know what Best is? He's a Hippo. And Hippos kill more people than any other animal in the world.
They've got great macro
minus
as
mosquitoes,
well.
but malaria doesn't count.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, malaria does not count.
What about people, though?
Oh.
People kill more people.
Let me tell you something. Best is a human in that case. But, yeah, I mean, Sulky very scary. He just tries to get in there.
Well, Sulky he's like a Cobra, and Mongoose. Best is a Mongoose, right? Like,
he's a Mongoose nerd.
Yeah, and we all know that Mongooses have great macro.
Yeah. What sound does a Mongoose make? It's like... That's his GG right there. Say it with me, Artosis. Ready? We're going to go to a short break. We come back. Game number 4, Sulky versus Best.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어? 모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보. 다방면으로 보자. 다방.
뭐야 이게? 설마 탄? 전국민 슈팅 그라운드 탄! 지금 사전 예약하세요.
월드 오브 탱크블리처 맞춰주면 터지는 줄 알죠? 야, 내가 제일 잘하는 것 같은데 일반 여자들 중에 맞지? 소련이 좋다고? 이게 멋있더라. 사막. 오고 자 운전 잘해줘야죠. 뒷보다 더 와. 죄송합니다. 터집니다. 탱크 새끼들 앞만 보고 있지. 당원의 장사. 탱크가 너무 약해. 튕겼습니다. 아이 튕겨 나오네. 왜 이렇게 센데 이 탱크? 월드 오브 탱크 블리츠 많이 사랑해 주시고요.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
냄새가 나. 어두운 곳에 숨은 냄새를 풍기는 바로 너! 바로 너!
원인은 쾌쾌한 에어컨 냄새. 신제품 페브리즈 차량용으로 상쾌하게. 차량용.
오버워치 아이돌 학교를 소개합니다. 대한민국을 대표하는 최고의 게임 아이돌을 육성시키는 e스포츠 전문 학교.
마음을 비우고 눈앞의 임무에 집중하라.
실전 대처술 등 체계적인 교과 수업 그리고 균형 잡힌 PC방 식단을 통해 게임 아이돌로 성장하게 됩니다.
뭘 넋을 놓고 보고 있나?
오버워치 아이돌 학교는 매주 목요일 저녁 10시에 방송됩니다. 등교 시간 확인하여 지각하지 마세요. 오버워치 아이돌 학교.
We're back at the ASL. Best has begun his comeback. He lost game number 1 to a Hydra Bus, but in game 2 and 3, he is playing absolutely brilliantly, deflecting.
Yeah.
Much like the Karate Kid when he learned from Mr. Miyagi.
The wax has been off for a long time
that's
now.
right. He's like wax on, wax off.
I know.
GG.
He's like, he combines the handsomeness and the coolness of the bad guys with the crane kick here and the wax off. It's crazy. He's the whole movie himself.
He's the whole movie. He's Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
He's whatever the Karate Kid's name was.
Daniel.
He's all the guys on the Cobra Kai.
Yeah. I need to rewatch that movie very badly.
That's right.
Now that we're talking about that. I want to go rewatch all the movies from our childhood. I need to rewatch The Goonies and like...
Oh, The Goonies. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Last Starfighter. Oh my God, yeah.
We are going to be going on to the map Andromeda. Sulky versus Best. This is a 4-player map. This is... I don't know if either race has a very strong feeling about this map. It's one of these maps Zerg can turtle up and take other naturals, and it gets tricky for Protoss. But I think Protoss players are fine playing on this map against Zerg. I think it's a pretty balanced map for this matchup.
You know, I kind of like it for Zerg overall a little bit.
Okay.
And I think that Sulky can get into a very good position here. You know, you get the 3 bases with just defense at 1, so that's kind of neat. Yeah, I don't know. Like, but then again,
also,
best one on Outsiders, so I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah. We are now going in to game number 4. Sulky has to win here to go to game 5. Otherwise, Best escapes to the round of 4. In the bottom right, in the red, our Zerg player, Sulky. In the bottom left, in the purple, our Protoss player, Best.
Best looking just so strong, man. Like, I know that the winner of this has to play against the winner of Last and Flash, which is going to give us a ridiculous juggernaut, but like, the way Best is playing right now in these last couple games, if he wins this season, I will not bat an eye. I will not be surprised.
So, at this point in time, no way. He's going to make the pylon there? Okay, that's not what we expected.
He's just sitting there for his health tasteless. Yeah, he's going to make the pylon there.
So, normally... Basically, guys, if you don't see the Protoss make a pylon at their expansion, it means that they're doing something pretty unorthodox. Now, that being said, I mean, Best did, like, win on Outsiders, so he can do whatever he wants. But For those of you guys trying to learn, the general rule is you have to master fast expand, like before you even try strats like this. Also, I think it's a lot harder for new players to try strats like this because there had to be such a old school background for Protoss to kind of be comfortable navigating this. But
yeah, you know what, Tasis? This definitely could be similar to the Outsider game. He might want to be able to put on the pressure and skip cannons altogether in the early game while taking a base. And
it's possible.
If you practice the hell out of the build on Outsider, Andromeda is enough like it that you can kind of do a similar build, right? And
Sure.
you gotta account for things like the amount of practice time you have. How many different strategies do you really want to bring into this because they are so hard to execute? So that could be what we're seeing here.
So he gets the 2 gateways up here. Bear in mind, this map is also a map with a big ramp. There's a large berth that you have to cover. So you need to have those 2 gateways. If you were 1 gate this and try to go for gas play, you'll have a problem. Now, the Protoss should be acquiring the gas pretty quickly here. And we'll probably see the Stargate from there, but I don't know. There's some really, Protoss since the dawn of StarCraft has been a race that can do some pretty sneaky stuff. And what's funny about the strat that we saw here is because Sulky expected standard play, I don't believe he scouted the gates.
No, you're right.
Okay.
He did not go up the ramp. He thinks at best is maybe in the top left right now.
Yeah.
Because his Overlord is getting to the top right and he sees nothing over there.
And so Sulky may end up becoming his own worst enemy in this game because if he doesn't identify what Protoss is doing, and this is not what Sulky's not thinking, I bet he's going to make 2 gates. If he thought he was going to make 2 gates, he would have scouted that and pushed further, but instead he wanted to try to figure out the timing of a possible gateway on the low ground or a forge.
And it looks like Best is getting ready right now to take that mineral base, so this is looking so much like what we saw before on Outsider. I love it, the fact that we're going to be able to possibly see the same type of strategy twice, but we see that he's actually taking that mineral base. He's not getting a gas quite yet.
Right.
So just, which the thing is that's going to work fine. The Zerglings can't break Zealots on a ramp.
Okay, he sees the 1 drone down here now. He can try to go for it. Very good control. Now he gets the gas a little bit later. This is all very cool.
Yeah,
now,
this is really cool.
Will we see the Dragoon play again? I'm not entirely sure.
It's a definite possibility. Will he go right up into a Corsair? Normally you need that to scout. If you don't have that, the scouting intel for Protoss is like attack with your units to see what they have.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that Protoss.
I call that the Huck style.
The style that Protoss have to play against when it's against a Zerg is that the Zerg can just blindside you with mutas or hydras or even mass slings, or you can get drone drilled. There's all sorts of stuff that can go down. So they kind of need you need the Corsair to scout, or you need to be putting on so much pressure that you're basically scouting them while you're attacking them.
Okay, so
oh my God, they fit
Lynx
through.
Actually, yeah, they get up. That was a little bit sloppy there by Best. I guess he can end up killing off some of these Lings, but he's going to lose some mining time, maybe some probes. The Lings are getting a decent scout on as well. Okay, he makes the Stargate. Now, he probably was going to make it anyways, but I do want to throw out that he made this right in front of the Lings. It is a possibility that this was going to be something else, and he's trying to throw Sulky off, but... Oh.
Yeah, he's already getting a good amount of workers. It's crazy how abusive Zerg can get when these Lings get in there.
Yeah.
Because the Zealots kind of can't catch up with him, and probes die so fast to a couple speed Lings.
Oh, yes. Very hard to micro them out of the graphs of these Lings, and any Zerg worth his salt can keep these Lings alive for like 1,000 years against slow Zealots.
And also, he's interrupting the gas mining here, which is actually a pretty big deal because...
And he killed 16 gas.
Yeah.
But killed it. That gas is never coming back.
And they bury that with the probe. Oh my God, he got more in.
It buried the gas. Well, then it'll diffuse out, Taste. But, oh my God.
He needs another Zealot there. It's too hard to wall.
It's a 3 Zealot wall.
Okay, Sulky may end up winning this game just based off this harass because...
It's too much damage already. Look at the amount of probes that he's getting. He's on 3 base back at home.
This is super frustrating for the Protoss player, but it's a very smart move for the Zerg. I mean, if you can get in there and utilize the fact that you have speed, you're in great shape.
Lair on the way right now for Sulky, starting to make some of these Hydras, even making a sunken up at the front of his base. Single Corsair headed across the map.
Now, he needs to get that Corsair over there most ASAPly because he needs to see exactly what the tech is going to be. Is it going to be mass Hydras? Is he going to have Mutalisk tech possibly coming up here?
Because he has to act like that's a wall to try to stop these Lings. Oh god, they're still going to walk through because he's microing his Corsair, but at least the Corsair is getting him some intel as what's going on, but the amount of probes he's lost, and the amount of gas he hasn't been able to mine, it's hard to imagine a worse situation for Best right now.
Well, the thing about the style of play that Best is doing is it requires such tight timing and knowledge that really to have the workers interrupted at all while mining, oh my god, he lost the Corsair. Even have the workers interrupted while mining is hugely problematic. So Best is playing from a big disadvantage just due to the fact that Sulky got in there. Best was not vigilant enough to have that walled off properly.
When the Corsair died, I looked over at Best, almost expecting for the headset to come off and bounce off the table and him to get up and like his chair falls over.
Right.
Just like starts raging at that point because everything has gone wrong. But Best is going to try to take another base. He will be able to get it most likely. There are some Lings and Hydras on the way, but those cannons, are they going to finish in time? I think so.
Well, you know, keep in mind we saw something similar in our other game, in game number 2 on Outsider, but he had a lot more Dragoons.
He has a lot of Zealots here, though.
Yeah, it's definitely a Zealot-heavy army, but that's fine against, this many Lings.
Those Lings get in the main base, man. Oh, my God.
This is Groundhog's Day to cast. Okay, so he has to back up. And really, the idea behind the build that Best is doing is really cool because it's all about sucking up a lot of minerals, and those minerals allow you to have enough money to keep making the Zealots and, maybe a few Dragoons, but also the cannons and the Nexus, and that's when you finally get your second gas once that's up and defended. And if you have the second gas up, that's all you need to do. That's all you got to do. Excuse me, all you need to do. That's all you got to do. But we should also take note that there are 2 lurkers making, and he can get an Overlord over that expansion where there's the mineral only that's sort of inside the main base on the plateau, and he can start hitting the workers.
Yeah, in fact, he has Overlord speed, so we might see some drop action coming as well, and of course, as you said, hurting the mineral base here, but God, what is Best actually supposed to do from this point? He's just kind of so far behind where he wanted to be, not able to mine from his expansion even right now. His Nexus is at his 3rd base. He's not even close to done yet.
Yeah, and this is just very frustrating. This position that Best is in, but Sulky's really cornered him here. I mean, he's really punishing Best. And by the way, Best did not have to do this strategy on this map.
Well, you know what messed up is the Lings were at the bottom of his ramp. The 3 Zealots walked down, did some damage, walked back up, and he didn't make a perfect wall out of them again. And that's literally why he's in this bad spot. And that is like one of the most frustrating reasons to be in this spot because it is 100% Best's fault. It's not like Sulky outplayed him. He got Lings up because Best screwed up his wall.
And keep in mind, there are no observers out just yet. So there's a lot of problems. If the lurkers can be dropped, for instance, into the main, there's almost nowhere to mine. And if that one robo can get cornered, it's not going to be easy. But if he does get it, that could be game right there as well.
Yeah, everything is kind of bad and hard right now. Starts poking into the front a little bit here, targeting down the cannon and just letting the Lings die there, soaking up all that damage while he picks it off. Looks like he wants to try to push up with a lurker here on the side.
And that's not clear for the Zerg when the observers are going to be out. He's trying to just edge forward here. Oh, he's got to pull that one back.
Oops. Ooh. Cannon range is so crazy.
Yeah, cannons in StarCraft 1 are pretty funny, guys, because they do a lot of damage, but they also die really quickly. Now, if he can get in range maybe and start to hit this pylon, for instance. Okay, now he's going to get this last one. Okay, is he going to try to do a dive?
Oh, God, there's just so few Zealots here now, and they've all taken a big bruising. Zealot leg's not quite done.
Oh, that might be checkmate. There's no detection here. And there's definitely enough hiders. Okay, he needs to get that last cannon. He needs to get that last cannon.
It looks like he's going to dive on it, but there's some more cannons still being made here. The thing is, Best doesn't have many units. A single Dragoon trying to hold on to this cannon, and it's not going to be enough. GG.
That's it, GG. That's checkmate. If you get on top of that robo, there's no way to stop those lurkers other than making cannons, and we already saw that Zerg have a way to dismantle that. Sick. We're going to go on to Game 5.
Well, something goes wrong in the early game, Sulky wins. That's what we've learned here.
That's right.
If Best plays a perfect early game, then Best wins. Will that trend continue into map 5, Circuit Breaker once again?
Yep, going back to the basics. Now on Circuit Breaker, Sulky won with a Hydra bust. I don't think he's going to try it again, but, Sulky's a crazy guy.
Yeah, he could be.
And he just doesn't want to go into late game against Best.
No. Well, Best has won those late game situations so far against Sulky. I think Sulky can put up a good fight against Best in that case, but we haven't seen him do it yet in this series.
Man, if Sulky runs up there and busts down Best, man, Sulky's gonna be laughing like he just tricked Snow White and eating a poison apple. This is going to be a bad way for Best to go down.
Oh my God, that's great. Is that the one with the witch in the mirror where they're like, who's the prettiest of them all? Who's the greatest Zerg of them all? And the mirror shit is like, actually, it's not you. It's Shine.
So, let's see what these guys got in store for us. Sulky with some terrifying early game, really able to dismantle these Protosses. But if Best survives, he looks unstoppable. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, our final match in tonight's ASL.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어? 모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보. 다방면으로 보자. 다방.
월드 오브 워시. 야, 쟤 잠수함이냐? 퀴속선. 커와이네. 불기 못 맞추네. 고티어 메타멀 민폐입니다. 누구시죠? 저희 죄송한데 혹시 운영자님이십니까? 나의 꿈과 희망을 실어서 간다. 어레 김연봉. 고쳐 블라. 야, 뭐야, 블랙홀이야? 은신.
뭐야 이게? 설마 탄? 전국민 슈팅 그라운드 탄! 지금 사전 예약하세요.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
냄새가 나. 어두운 곳에 숨은 냄새를 풍기는 바로 너!
원인은 쾌쾌한 에어컨 냄새. 신제품 페브리즈 차량용으로 상쾌하게. 차량용.
오버워치 아이돌 학교를 소개합니다.
선서 우리는 오버워치 아이돌 학교의 교육과정을 성실히 임하며
최고의 게임 아이돌로 성장할 것을 다짐합니다.
좋았어. 이제부턴 진지 모드.
신입생 입학 조건 단 하나. e스포츠와 오버워치를 사랑하고 PC방을 좋아하면 돼요.
뭘 넋을 놓고 보고 있나?
매주 목요일 저녁 10시에 방송됩니다. 오버워치 아이돌 학교.
No stress, more exciting. I couldn't have said it better myself, Artosis!
KT Giga Internet, Tasteless!
AfreecaTV! We are going into the last game tonight in this ASL. It's Sulky versus Best. Our survivor moves on to the round of 4 and is that much closer to becoming the ASL champion.
This round of 8 has been really exciting so far. This series staying up at that level as well. Sulky, he's been winning against early mistakes from Best. If Best doesn't keep his probe alive for a long time, if Best moves his Zealots and his ramp at all, Best is going to die. But Best in the late game has been fantastic so far here tonight.
It seems like as long as Best can last in the game, he manages to have all the tools necessary to kill the Zerg. But Sulky is such a punishing player. He's able to get in there and do the damage. He goes right for the jugular. He sees one small weakness.
Yeah.
Even in that last game, the way that Sulky won, I'm like, damn, Sulky, I don't even know if you had to play like that. But
yeah.
He's like, no, I'm just going to snipe all the cannons and get to the robo before the Observer comes out. Because I know this exactly.
It was super well done by Sulky and a well-deserved victory. You mess up with the Zealots on your ramp. You're going to do a build like that, Tasteless? You got to have those things on the hold position. You got to really watch it. And Best did not do that.
This map is a rematch of the game we saw in Game 1 where Sulky won with a Hydra bust. Sulky could do anything to try to end this right away. Best needs to hang on if he's going to survive and move on to that round of 4 spot. All right, guys, let's go. Our final game tonight at the ASL. In the bottom right, in the red, our Zerg player, Sulky. In the upper left, in the orange, cross spots, it's Best.
Cross spots. How fitting.
By the way, guys, our announcer pack was announced.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
This is the announcement of the announcer pack, StarCraft 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming. We put a lot of love into it.
Yeah.
We hope you guys like it.
It was pretty fun to make.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't love it, then, well, you guys suck.
Yeah, never watch us again. Go away. We don't like you. This cast isn't for you, okay? So,
I only play StarCraft 1 because I think it's better than StarCraft 2. Well, guess what? With the announcer pack, StarCraft 2 officially becomes a better
it becomes
game.
better. It's over. The argument's over. It's like, well, these guys got this microtransaction. It's really good.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So I'm assuming he's going to go for the gateway opening.
I can't wait to play with our announcer pack and then cringe at my own voice.
Yeah.
There's nothing like hearing your own voice.
Pack. I hear Artosis talking. I'm just yelling, shut up, Artosis.
Is that what I sound like?
Yeah.
Tasteless, I know I don't have enough minerals. Shut up!
Okay, so Best has been sticking with this style of play. But I have to say, Sulky's been pretty decent at playing around this. Now, this game may mirror Game 1, like we saw before with the Hydra Bust. In case you guys are wondering, well, how do you stop the Hydra Bust? You just need enough cannons, and then you have to have good control. And the placement is actually probably the most important thing. You have to have your cannons in the right spot so that the Hydras have a harder time getting over there.
Yeah. And if you do have those cannons, then you're kind of all set, especially if it's like a 3-hatch. Then you just don't have that big of an economy. And then, you know, Best is going to get legs, he's going to get Storm, and you're going to be in for a hurting.
Okay, already a denial here on the hatch.
Oh, my.
And
you know, it's funny to watch drones try to make hatcheries and get denied. It's kind of like a dog does where it walks in a circle before it lays down.
Yeah,
that's kind of what drones do to make a hatch.
So you don't always make the pylon there to block it, but the fact that he's delaying this other hatchery by quite a bit, and now this hatch is going to have to be made over here in the center right, that's annoying.
Drone coming up, seeing the incoming Zealot right now. We'll see. Sulky, I would imagine, is going to send 2 Zerglings right past to make sure the second Zealot doesn't come, and probably turn him around like we saw before. But how will Best actually play this? Look at this. This is kind of a funny path.
Okay, now here's something that can happen that is really annoying, is that if you send the Zealots back, then the Zerg can start to pressure you with their lings because they ended up getting extracted. They had to spend their money somewhere, so they end up with faster ling speed. Once he gets rid of the probe, ooh, epic chase scene happening here.
This actually kind of sucks for Best if he ends up losing this probe. Okay, he actually starts to get away a bit, and the shields are recovering, so that's good. If you lose it right away, though, we can see things like 3-hatch Hydra Bust come, and you're none the wiser about it.
He needs to get a Forge up right away, or he's going to be in Trouble Town.
I hope he doesn't forget.
Oh, you're funny. That's not very good. Very good dad joke there, Artosis.
Yeah.
Now, he's continuing to chase this probe. Now, one of the things the Protoss is trying to do is just keep this probe alive for as long as possible, so it's enough of a nuisance that if it were to loop back in. But the Forge isn't quite done, and there's actually a lot of Zerglings coming here, and in fact, the timing may not map out.
No, this is
favorably
actually
here for the Protoss.
Yeah, you're right. I think he's actually going to end up losing part of his wall in here. If you just kind of attack the buildings and then use the rest of the Lings to kill any Zealots or try to surround any Zealots that come out to stop the Lings, because you got to poke the Lings a little bit, but this Forge was a bit late.
Okay, now he's pulled the Zealot back through there.
Oh,
he's just trying to hit the edges of these buildings. Now, what the Protoss needs to do is come out with the Zealot, poke, and then run back to have good surface area.
Oh my God. He has to be so careful about this. But okay, so he's going to continue to wall in here. He brings Zealots down, but that means Lings can get in. Oh man, this is not going well.
It's the Tosis Pylon in Brood War.
I didn't know it even existed.
Yeah, we never normally see the Pylon get killed off.
He can't even remake the cannon until that Pylon's back. More Lings coming up. Speed is done as well.
Sulky may manage to eke out a win here. He needs to get a cannon up pronto.
Oh my God, this is really rough. Okay, there's 3 Lings in the main base, so that definitely a lot of damage can be caused, but he doesn't seal this off. Tasteless.
Will history repeat himself, Artosis? The fact of the matter is, every time that Best starts to take a certain amount of damage early on, Sulky manages to close it out.
Yeah, and this is a lot of Speedlings in his base really, really early on into the game. So Best is going to be taking damage. Even making a Photon Cannon, realizing what a tough situation. More Speedlings on the way. That wall is not sealed at the front.
Okay, he could, though, if he gets a probe over there in time. The cannon's up. The block is good.
No, the top part isn't.
Yeah, that's true. But if this cannon finishes up here in the main, then it slows down the Ling Rush tremendously.
You are causing some lost gas mining and whatnot, but hey, let's not forget, these are Lings, not drones being made right now by Sulky, so
that's right.
That is at least a little bit of a consolation prize here.
And in case you're wondering why we don't see the Pylon picked off here, the Pylons are a lot harder to kill in Brood War. A lot of times it's more efficient to just go for the cannon. Or the gateway or the forge
you can't pick
or
off
whatever.
Pylons. That's not like a real thing. So they have a hell of a lot of health.
But in this case, because the Protoss was walled off and trying to wait for that cannon to finish, he actually got prime real estate to take out that cannon back there.
Now Zealot going over
Pylon,
here.
rather, excuse me.
Yeah, Zealot to the third base now, just trying to do a little bit of harassment. Macro hatch on the way there for Sulky as well. And Best, he took less damage than I actually thought he would, especially based off that Andromeda game where he took like infinity times 3 damage.
Infinity times 3?
Yeah, it was
infinity times pi, Artosis.
Oh my God, that's even just slightly more than what I said. Just by like 0.14159 more or so.
That's right, yeah.
But yeah, that's it was a ton of damage. This game, putting that cannon up, when he let the Morlings in, I was like, oh my God. But he dealt with it reasonably well considering. But Sulky's getting into his 5-hatch play. There's nothing wrong with Sulky's position here, really.
Yeah,
so I'm liking where Sulky's at.
The game's going fine for Sulky.
Yeah.
But remember, it seems like if Best can just get that Templar tech up, get Psionic Storm out, or for instance in the game on Outsider, get a Reaver out, get something that's got a lot that packs a big punch.
Yeah.
Now he actually got a lot of gateways. We don't normally see him. You make 3 gates like this, but it looks like he wants to try to counter this because he knows there's probably a lot of Lings on the map anyways. He wants to spill out with an insane number of Speed Zealots.
Yeah, especially with that +1 attack. They'll be so efficient coming right after these Zerglings right off the bat. Zerglings trying to threaten that they'll run back in. Best not buying it.
Well, maybe he should have.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, but he's not. I think that Sulky's second-guessing himself. He actually could have gone into the main there. I guess the fact there's a cannon in the main, it's...
The micro of Sulky, it becomes really hard because if the drones, or rather the probes, just kind of surround the cannon a bit, you have to, like, the amount of targeting you have to do there is madness, and your Zerglings will die rather quickly.
Okay, so he's going to come out with a surprising number of Zealots, and this could blindside the Zerg. Now, Sulky's got a really good turtled position in the center right. It might look like the placement sometimes is random for the Zerg. It's totally the opposite. They have to place up everything perfectly. And this can wall off a lot of Zealots. And if you have 1 to 2 lurkers with maybe a spore over there, nah. You're not getting in there.
And the fact that he has 6 hatches right now to macro off of, or he's about to have 6 hatches, that is a lot of production for Sulky. But as you said, this is kind of a weird amount of Zealots at a weird time, which could throw Sulky off a bit.
Yeah, actually 6-hatch Hydra, which used to not be a thing in the earlier days of Brood War, is in fact a very scary play. And sometimes, even if they get Templars, you get busted anyways. It's actually kind of hilarious. But yeah, I don't think with this placement, these Zealots can necessarily do that much damage. It might be a situation where Sulky asks for ID and Best is sitting there saying, but I'm 48 years old, why are you IDing me? And he gets kicked out of the bar anyways.
Oh my God, those are the worst situations.
That's just brutal.
I hate that, being a 48-year-old that sometimes gets kicked out of bars for not having
It's
the ID.
brutal, man. But let's say the placement is pretty good here. Now see how you can clog that up with the Hydras, just like we saw the Zealots clogging up the Protoss's entrance? Except guess what? Hydra's got range, man.
That's a good point.
They're firing acid from their mouth, Artosis.
They're spitting on these Zealots.
They're spitting on these
Quite
Zealots.
literally.
Yeah.
It's quite a rude thing to do.
Some of these Hydras didn't brush their teeth either.
No. They got some stank breath going on.
Some stank breaths.
They got +1 stank breath here coming up as well.
+1. Yes, you are right. So the Hydras are not going to move out here. Wow, I can't believe. Well, never mind. He's going to lose that anyways.
Believe it, Tasteless.
Believe.
That I can't believe.
Yeah.
2 hit points. Okay, so this attack is super scary. He's made extra cannons, and he has Psystorm on the way, but he does not have Storm right at this second, I don't think.
A fight on the bridge is going to be tough. He has to back up. Now, if the Zealots get behind the cannons, occasionally the Hydras just gun everything down as well. He also could get the +1 attack upgrade that's happening here at the Forge.
Oh, man, when the probes come out, you know Protoss is in a lot of trouble right now. Okay, the High Templar's kind of getting in position.
Okay, there it is. He actually got it.
Ooh.
Shocking results.
Shocking!
Okay, but he's also going to be able to drop 2 DTs over here. He could actually get in there and take out all the workers. He's coming here with another storm. Is Sulky watching?
All the Overlords are actually up at the natural, so no detection in that main base. Even if he sees it, the DTs can get a lot of damage done. We don't know what's in those eggs.
Thank you, Artosis.
Okay, there's another Lord!
Okay, while this is happening, there's a chance Protoss may try to bust out 2 DTs.
Oh my God.
And there's a chance Sulky just doesn't notice. He has to micro so intensely.
Yeah, he really is. And look at this, a ton of drones starting to go down. But Sulky very quick to notice, actually. But then some of his Hydras actually getting mowed down here by these speed Zealots with +1.
Okay, he needs to pull these DTs back out. He may even try to run inside the shuttle.
Shuttle them out to safety as the rest of the Hydras are being chased off by these Zealots. Still, Sulky has a Spire up. He has 6 hatches. He has 3 bases, so it's not like he's dead, but that was a good DT drop.
Okay, he's backed up. Protoss is starting to get into a very good position here with Psionic Storm. I believe he has +1, right?
Yeah, he has +1.
He's getting +2. Yeah, for sure. I guess he has +1. So he's backing up. Now, the problem is, even if Protoss has the tools necessary, if Zerg micros the Hydras brilliantly and dodges the storm, this army can still get destroyed.
Well, he's not really sending everything. He's just kind of poking right now with a small group. Most of his units are actually at home, and it looks like he wants to take a 4th base. I don't really blame him for this. With that many cannons at the front, there's almost no point in trying to break through, but is he doing a switch right now, getting some Mutalisks out?
He could. No matter what, Sulky's back at home, much more focused on the macro game. If you were to see him on his keyboard, it looked like he's playing Flight of the Bumblebee.
But it's much harder.
It's much harder.
Much harder.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's
turn
brutal.
around. Oh, my God, Sulky didn't see.
Wow.
My God.
Okay, a lot of Mutas out right now, so if he can start picking off some of these High Templars, Mutas do kill them rather quickly, but Mutas don't heal that quickly in StarCraft 1. So if you get a Storm off on them, it is a hell of a lot of damage. StarCraft 1 Storms do a lot.
Yeah.
So he's got to be careful
This
still.
might be a fatal blow here. This is a really good setup that Zerg get into in the mid-game.
Do you think those 3 Dragoons will hold off all the Mutas?
It's all a game of chance, Artosis. I'm just not sure. Now he's going to come in here for the snipes.
Okay, running some Zealots up here. Oh, here we go.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Okay, some okay Storms on him, but that is 2 High Templars completely gone.
Yep. He needs to back up. He's getting some Dragoons out here, but he doesn't have like a critical amount that allow him to cover this.
Oh, God. He's even going to pick off this shuttle right now.
Is that the shuttle from earlier?
Yeah, that's the same
it's like
shuttle.
all the way back over there. It somehow didn't get hit by those Hydras. Okay. Now, if he snipes all the High Templars, then the Hydras are the closer. The Hydras just gun everything down. And he's coming through. He's looking for Templars.
Yeah, and ooh, that was a good Side Storm all over them. So far those Mutas have picked off 3, but there are at least 3 more High Templars still in this army. So yeah, Best is definitely not dead yet. Oh my God,
really
that
great storm.
Oh
Great storm.
my God, sickest storms right now. Sulky dodging nothing. Lots of damage being dealt to Sulky's army, and Best looks like he's just going to straight up get his 3rd.
Yeah, he's stabilizing. Sulky taking a 4th now, right down there. We just saw the drones get transferred. Now, when Zergs stay on Muta Hydra, they're not developing their tech further. I mean, you're basically what Sulky's trying to do is end this game, and Best just wants to make this game last a little bit longer because he knows the longer the game goes on, the stronger and scarier he's going to be.
A few Mutas going to fly in and do some harassment, but the Mutas, I don't feel like they didn't do what they were meant to do. He picked off only a few High Templars. They got stormed all to hell. Now they are doing some harassment, which is nice, but a few Dragoons can fight these off pretty well.
And that cannon that was made there to defend those Lings early on is now paying off as these Mutas can't harass the main further.
Right now, Sulky's like, God, I wish I hadn't gotten in there with Speedlings and killed so many probes. This cannon wouldn't be there.
The question is, will Sulky be prepared later on? We have 2 forges going on right now. Looks like one just finished the upgrade, so it's +2 attack and +1 armor.
+2 on Sulky right now on these Hydras. +2 spit.
That's right. +2 saliva artosis. And there's no armor here for the Zerg, I don't believe.
These are Tasterlisks right now.
Oh, they're for sure Tasterlisks. And he can morph them into Tasters if he wants.
Tasters?
But, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Now, the Mutas are being chased back a little bit. They're not really able to get in here and do any damage, but Sulky
have Dragoon range yet?
He might not. It doesn't look like he does.
I think he's just upgrading now, so a little bit late to have this many Dragoons. The Muta's flying in, trying to get any High Templars they can, picking a few of them off at the moment.
Okay, Sulky's pulling the trigger. He wants to end this game right now, and this position is horrible right here for Best.
Oh, my God.
Where's
his Zealots? It looks like they're all gone. These Dragoons having to pull back. No more Side Storm. Here comes another one, but the Muta's on top of it. The Side Storm, though, is awesome. But still, no other units left over for Best, and it is looking like he might lose this game.
Yeah, it was a really good, precise attack. And again, with Dragoon range there, the Dragoons are just not even able to take the fight. In fact, I think Best might have forgotten it or made one gateway too many because you need to have range, and you stand a much better chance. Now, note, he's not even going to try to just focus fire the 3rd. He actually wants to try to end the game right here, right now, and I think he's going to do it, Artosis. I think Best is going to lose this series.
You are right about that. The DTs come out, the panic DTs, and there is an Overlord with speed here, so they will not be able to do any damage against this massive Hydra force, and Sulky takes it. GG, 3-2, moving on to the round of 4.
Wow, great job there by Sulky, not playing by the rules that Best wants him to. He gets in there, he cuts Best's throat, and that is a 3-2 victory with Sulky in the Final 4 of the ASL.
A fantastically played series from both sides. Unfortunately, Best, any game where he made any mistakes early on, Sulky immediately capitalized upon, got huge damage in, and was able to take him out.
Yeah, a really impressive series here by Sulky. And I got to say, Sulky has been taking out some legends in this tournament. And, you know, I don't think it's going to be easy for either the 2 Terrans that he's going to have to go up against.
No, it's not.
Coming up here.
He has the potential to take down Flash or Last, whoever it may be that comes up. And this guy, let's not forget, he is a true champion in StarCraft 2. He can go on that main stage and play without the nerves. This guy reverse all-killed innovation in StarCraft 2. Something that no one else really can say, right? So he's got it all. And like I was saying at the beginning of the show, if he wins, I mean, it's a possibility.
감사합니다.
네, 정말 천신만고 끝에
Congratulations.
4강에 오르게
Thank you.
됐어요. 오늘 경기력 정말 멋있었는데요. 소감이
That was a great
어떠신가요?
performance. How do you feel?
일단 아웃사이더를 져가지고 너무 불안했었거든요. 그래가지고 불안했는데.
I was actually shaking after I lost Outsider.
오늘은 그래도
I'm so glad that I managed to pull it together and win here.
그래가지고 그게 잘 통했던 것 같아요.
I tried to get rid of, or just, I'm sorry, reset my style.
하자라는 마인드가 오늘
And I was hoping if I could mix it up enough, it would throw him off.
네, 공격적으로 하는.
I definitely want to rely on aggressive plays though still.
공격적으로 바꿨어요.
예, 오늘 컨셉이 정말 대단했습니다.
So
공격적인 것도
I
공격적인
basically
건데
doubled down the aggression
어쩜
and it
이렇게
paid off.
그 짜임새가 있네요. 그 이긴 경기들이 1세트 초반, 4세트 중반, 5세트는 후반 넘어가려고 할 때 예,
So you seem to prepare very well for a best of fives. You had great early game and you had solid late game. And I loved your harass back
여러
there.
가지를 많이 하거든요. 그래서 좀 수비적으로 하니까 승률이 안 나오나 싶어서 공격적으로 바꿔봤는데 오히려 공격적인 게 좀 더 승률이 좋길래
When I'm having defensive play, it just doesn't seem to result in good win rates for me. So I've decided to be much more in my opponent's face.
좀 대담하지 않으면 선택하기 쉽지 않을 텐데 어땠습니까? 그렇게 좀 빠른 시간 안에 승리를 따냈을 때.
Seems like you've got a lot of bold early attacks.
통할 거라고 생각을 하기도 했는데 만약에 안 통하더라도
Yeah.
이기면 된다라고 생각을 했었는데
Even
와보니까
my early attacks, some of them didn't work well. But I always have a plan B or a plan C.
자신감을 딱 가지게 돼.
Anyways, I'm glad it worked.
좀 빨리 오늘 끝낼 수 있을 것 같은데.
It also gives me a lot more confidence going on to the next match.
예, 아웃사이더를 준비했는데 뭔가 좀 이상하게 움직이는 프로토스에게 계속 좀 휘둘리면서 셔틀과 리버를 잡았음에도 패배했단 말이에요.
When you were playing on outsider, you were even taking out the shuttles and the reavers. But you couldn't defend against that. Figured you're going to attack. Tell us about that.
제가 좀 밀렸던 것 같아요. 그냥 생산력에서.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe how good best macro was back there.
어땠습니까? 예, 그냥 그 한방 싸움에 그냥 뻥 하고 뚫려버렸는데.
How about that match on Camelot?
때도 그런 적은 없었는데 처음으로 그렇게 막 그냥 뻥.
Yeah, even when I practiced,
뚫렸거든요. 그래서
I never really had a match that looked like the one that we had there.
멘탈 잡자 이런 생각을 가지고 있었어요.
The fact that we managed to have that one big bust that broke in. After I lost that one,
솔직히 보통 선수라면
I tried to just focus on game 4 and getting my mentality back.
이거 지는 각 나왔다 이런 생각을 하면서 포기할 수도 있지 않습니까? 그런 대회 경험들이 많은 도움이 됐습니까?
아무래도 대회 경험이 그래도 없진 않아요.
Aren't you worried that you're going to lose the series after you were down 2-1?
이길 수 있다고 생각하면 이길 수 있더라고요. 그래서
Yeah, but I've had moments like that before in my career. I'm an experienced pro gamer. So I think the key point is just focus on having the right mindset.
게다가 이 보통의 프로듀스가 보통엔 사용하지 않는 식의 그 빌드 운영을 상대로 그 애매한 시기에 시기라고 골 풀어버렸는데 그건 짜여진 뭐 각도라던가 뭐 짜여진 뭐
And he really twisted the whole way we were looking at Protoss versus Zerg.
병력 운영이 아니었지 않습니까?
그렇죠. 즉흥적이었죠.
와 이거 보니까 왜 뚫는 각이 나왔다.
Everything seems very spontaneous. What is your take on that?
생각이 들었어요. 무조건 뚫을 것
같아요. Sure, yeah.
예, 그 상황에서 그런 상황을 보통 경험해 보지도 않잖아요.
많이 경험해가지고
if everything was coming down to instinct, I experienced a lot.
오, 그렇게 되면서 마지막 5번째 경기에서 혹시 그거 보셨나요?
Well, the key point is that I had to be 100% sure that if I attack, I win. That was the key thing that kept me together.
그 상황.
보긴 봤는데.
예, 그때 어떤 기분인가요, 보통 저그들은?
근데 그래도 제가 유리한 상황이었어요.
Did you see all your hydras were getting destroyed so badly during the Sonic Storm, or were you macroing?
좀 당황하긴 했는데 그래도.
Yeah, well.
예, 공격력까지 히드라의 공격력 2단계까지
Maybe I can attack.
그게 히드라가 녹아버리고 뮤탈이
I thought maybe I could have another follow-up attack with the hydras, so I wasn't really worried as much about the storm.
그런 모습 보니까 정말 이쁘고 또 다음 경기도 재밌는 경기 만들어주시면 감사하겠습니다.
So from today's performances, we've got great expectations for you.
이제 지금 김태경, 이영환 선수가 올라와 있고 다음은 김성현, 이영호 선수가 경기를 해요. 둘 중에 붙어보고 싶은
after
선수가
Bisu and
있나요?
Shine, who are the other two players out of the 4 spots? We also have Last and Flash remaining. Who do you want to advance? Who would you like to play against? Well, they're both really good Terrans, so it's kind of hard to pick which one I prefer. But no matter who I'm up against, it's going to be a very tough match.
오프라인, 온라인에 정말 많을 것 같은데 그 팬분들에게 인사 한번 해볼까요?
A lot of fans at home are watching. Do you have anything to say to them?
제가 4강 올라갈 거라고 생각 못 하신 분들도 많고 저도 못했고 했는데
I know before we started the season,
너무 기쁘고 응원해 주신 팬분들이
I think many people didn't think I was going to be in the semifinals, and I was one of them. So I really want to thank everybody who's been supporting me and rooting for me. And I'm just going to train really hard, and I'm going to show great games for my fans, Artosis.
That's all I wanted. He gave me Christmas.
It's Christmas every day here at the ASL. Santa Claus is not getting a break. Good old Saint Nick
This Protoss has been bad tasteless, and he got a pile of coal there on map 5.
Yeah. You know what? Sulky, I know some people will get critical and be like, oh, well, he was doing too many rushes. It's like, dude, you got to do what you got to do to win. Yeah. Now, this is the big match. This is the daddy match coming up on Tuesday, Flash versus Last.
Yeah, I mean, the winner here might be the favorite to win the whole thing. The two best Terrans in the world going at it. They're both absolutely bonkers good at TVT.
The young versus the old.
Yeah, it's like Flash and then like the guy that's closest to being Flash other than Flash.
Yeah.
The guy that wishes he was Flash, but he's not Flash because Flash is the guy he's playing against.
I love what you just said there, Artosis.
Yeah.
You're so good.
Well, I think that that's really what everyone's thinking at home.
They probably said that out loud the same time you were saying
it.
They
probably did. I jinxed them all.
The whole internet was like, we all finish each other's sentences at the exact same
sandwiches.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here tonight at the ASL. We will be back on Tuesday, same time, same place. And then I will be going out of town because I have to go to a friend's wedding.
I thought I was your only friend. I'm already married.
I have one other friend besides you. So.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and I'll be going to that, so I'll be missing some GSL and ASL. I'm sorry about that. Real life stuff.
How dare you have friends that matter to you?
How dare I?
You don't even care about StarCraft.
You hate this game.
God.
So, yeah, I'll be there Tuesday, and then I'll be gone for a little bit, but Rapid will be down here to save esports when Tasteless cannot. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Congratulations again to Soulkey, and we will see you Tuesday. We love you. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are.
Now when the time has come, I'm begging you to stay strong and save the world. I really don't mind games. Save the world. Visions will still remain. Don't need to hear